All right. Here
Yes.
we are. Another day, another RHOP
Dollar.
recap, another dollar.
This episode is called Healing, Thriving, and Surviving.
Yes, which Ashley Darby, questionable whether she's doing any of those things.
It might we suggested last season it might be called Healing, Thriving, and Conniving, but they didn't want to go with that.
No, there was no healing and thriving. We just said lying and conniving.
Oh, yeah, I think we said grifting and conniving.
Yeah,
That's what I think we said
healed?
grifting.
Who has healed on that show?
Wendy.
Wendy is growing. Like, she is growing.
Yeah, you legitimately can see her growing.
This is her best season, I definitely would say. But
yeah,
I mean, okay, sure. Fine. I'll give you that.
Okay. In addition to talking about Ashley's current health and well-being, the title is the reference to that. We're also going to talk about that little event, GNA Fusion. We're going to talk about Mia, Inc., Gordon. We're going to talk about Stacy. And what else we going to talk about? We're not talking about Karen, okay?
But there's enough of that.
I'm going to say a little bit about Karen. I'm going to talk a little bit about Raymond, you know?
Yes, we see him.
Yes, touche.
So, but we don't need to get into, and I liked her outfit. I liked the hair.
Okay,
we'll
good.
Talk about Stacy.
Good to know.
Yeah. But with that being said, let's toast. Ellen has already started drinking, but for those of us who respect law and order,
it ain't us.
Hurries up to drink some more.
Right. Raise the glass. I do have a toast for us here. All right, let's raise the glass, ladies. Raising a glass to the return of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Ooh, we've been seeing some previews and some content. You are now watching Mind You Media.
Mind You! We can't use that. We don't have the rights. You are now streaming Mind You Media.
Now I know where I can come in.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if our viewers have been watching long enough to realize that was a distraction tactic. Ellen is actually doing the 1 minute recap.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how prepared she is based on that little.
I'm going to kill it.
Okay.
All right, let's see that. I believe in you. I'm not one of the haters. I'm not one of the hater types who likes to.
But now I'm scared
on people's downfalls.
I do best when I'm underestimated, so please.
All right. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go, and then I'm going to click. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then you're going to, okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
Episode begins at the GNA Fusion event. After some exercise led by someone who's not Gizelle and Ashley, Ashley takes the stage. Embarrassing. Then we get a convo. Mia sits the women down to tell her how that conflict in the kitchen went with Gordon, her, and Inc. After that, we get Karen bracing herself for the court date. She is dressed like Wednesday Addams because that's going to impress the judge somehow. After that, the women are enjoying a happy hour and talking about the prospects for Karen's well-being. Wendy hits us with her liberalism. Any act that could potentially harm another human being would give me pause. I didn't like that. Okay, we also have a new debut of Kiarna's look with the high sleeves. It's a no for me, but Kiarna is slaying every time she shows up to a real event. So why is it bad in the confessional? Then we get Ashley with her family celebrating her birthday at home. Her latest confessional look is a rip-off.
You've been over. So
that's how I planned it.
Okay.
I see. What I was noting, it's like the viewers are like, oh yeah, Ashley with that burgundy fur look, and I will give it to her. She looks good there.
Definitely one of her better looks. Like if we're thinking about Ashley,
the only good one.
The only good look. This season of confessionals, it's like,
oh wow.
Like, yeah, so
of
that
course.
one
This
is
season, it's unequivocal, but I would argue her only good look, as somebody also
I
pointed
don't
out.
recall the others, so I wasn't ready to. But I recall
Only
some of
good
them.
look.
I recall the
Yeah.
Sheila.
Yeah.
That was a shocking look. But
This one though, she ripped off from Wendy and Candace. Wendy and
very
Candace have both done this bob flip
yeah,
side part
Mhm.
with fur,
Yep.
especially with fur.
Wendy
So
most recently on that Sherry visit that she, Candace,
when
and
her,
Andy
Andy,
on.
and Candace. Okay, Siri thinks you calling her now. She said, "What? What's up?"
Uh,
Just because you said
yeah.
Sherry. My
Now why am
goodness.
I in it?
So then what else happens? That's the look we get. Oh, I already said Karen's little court date.
Can I just
Ashley,
note, did anyone catch Karen holding hands with her lawyer walking into the court office? And
yeah,
right?
let's talk a little about that at some point too, because something funny happened there. Something
yeah.
funny with the lawyer.
Though we're not speaking on Karen.
I forgot. I forgot. I was looking at the wrong notes. Okay. So then after Ashley's, I would say hilarious and hijinks filled birthday, especially if you pay attention to the minor characters in the scene. We
Yes.
get we get Mia picking up ink from the airport. They're just talking shit about Gordon.
No, I like
Um,
that character.
I'm also watching the challenge where Jordan is featured. Then we close out the episode with Wendy's birthday, and that's as rich a text as we can expect from production, but some stuff definitely happens. Wendy makes an entrance on a convertible shaped, what are those things called?
Speedboat, motorboat.
Yeah, speedboat situation.
Yeah, speedboat, but it's really one of those ATVs in the water thing. It's just
I don't know
spread
what
out.
it's called, but it was
Oh,
cute.
not her.
I
One of
thought it was
those, one of
cute.
those.
It was a car.
Wave runner. It's a wave runner. And what else happens? Stacy and TJ have a bit of an on-camera tiff. Gizelle's being rude as usual. The episode closes with them confronting Mia about some inconsistencies in the story she had previously told them.
Her use.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Right. That's a great
Really
rundown.
It was okay. I know I didn't do my best.
When you started
That's
talking about
okay.
confessional looks in the 1 minute, that's when you had.
If I didn't bring them up now, when was I going to say them?
Guess what? We value you for who you are and not for what you do. Okay, so that's all. That's okay.
true.
It's okay.
That's actually true. I mean, that's a fact.
That's what I needed to hear.
Mhm.
I can't do baby voice on camera. That's fine.
It's a private affair.
I'll save it.
Okay, but one thing that I appreciated you did. one of the things I appreciated that you brought up was Gizelle being nasty at the birthday party. Okay. A lot of people since episode 1 of this season, people have been saying, Gizelle has turned over a new leaf. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I love Gizelle. And before you go on them, let me say this, because I do agree with what you're going to say, but in defense of, if there's anything to defend, which is not really, but I will say that I do find myself in moments agreeing with Gizelle scattered throughout the episodes, where last season I was like, who is this obstruction? She's the main problem in the show. This season, there are moments where she says something, I'm like, agreed, And so I think people are seeing that. I mean, they're doing a lot, but one of the things they're doing is seeing that and then saying, oh, so now she's healed and thriving,
Is the MVP, one person said.
Are these moments that concern Mia? Because I imagine that might be the only time that she might be saying something that one can understand. But even then, it might not be sufficient, if you ask me.
Yeah, this time I was definitely thinking of her talking about Mia, but I'm trying to, I don't know, but I probably, yes.
Yeah, and it's like the Mia thing is like other people are also saying it. It's like, and if it's from the first episode, what Gizelle said to Mia was like, and didn't you have 2 niggas? You a bad mom. Like,
you did not protect the kids, okay?
Judgment.
Well, that's what's sick. She has not done a 180 and people are acting like she has.
Exactly. Yeah. And to call her the MVP, I would actually call Wendy the MVP, because Wendy is both doing analysis, but also like trying to have grace for people, right?
Mhm.
Like, even if she, I just noted that she said some obnoxious stuff about what was it again? Any
Karen.
act that could potentially harm a human being gives me pause about Karen's thing. And it's just like, it is not the time to bring up acts that could harm a human being when we're talking about DUIs, because I'll name 50 right now happening up the street from you. Okay. So like that you should not even make reference to the harm
And
of human beings.
let's not talk about the harm of human beings when your mom just stopped skin bleaching. I know, I mean, I don't mean it to be a low blow, but it's like you have
It's such
that
a low blow.
influence.
But your
I
mom's
know.
bleaching.
No, it's harming your children, your
it's
beautiful
true.
dark-skinned children, to see your mother with her colored contacts and her skin bleaching. So like keep your analysis consistent with what harm. I know Wendy has the capacity to understand what harm is, and it's not just hitting somebody with a vehicle.
This literal thing. It just felt like she was reflecting the dominant discourse and not being really thoughtful about it. And it's like,
This
we
is
don't
also
want
the same show where one of the cast members like ripped the hair off the other cast member. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? You weren't I mean, not to say that, but it's just like, come on.
Yeah. And like Mia's doing a lot of things that will harm people. And she would say, like, yes, and I am holding her to the fire. But it's like, yeah, but that's direct and unequivocal. And like, it's not like you're intervening heavily on it. So leave DUI out. And nobody was actually harmed. So it's like,
also,
Mia could have harmed you when she threw that drink at you, but you went and said, I want to talk to Mia at pickleball the next 3 episodes later. You know what I'm saying?
Now all our grievances with Wendy will come forward. You know why you're fucking
But the last thing I want to say too is, okay, because Wendy would come back and say, yeah, I have a problem with Mia. Yeah, I have a problem with this. That's all wrong. But it's not even, it's that she's not deciding for herself that Karen harmed people. She's like, whatever the law says, that's when I'll know.
Yeah, that's what she's
done real harm.
Yeah.
And as a political scientist who thinks a lot about the effects of the state on Black people's lives, it's like you have to have a more critical stance to the law and its operations than that. Come on.
You especially, Wendy. Yeah, that's
If you're gonna be on Fox News fighting the fight, okay.
Yeah. If Ashley said it, we'd be like her dumbass as usual. But for Wendy, it's like strikes as a it's a moment of disappointment for sure for somebody who can do better analysis than that.
Deeply.
But all that being said, I think this is her best season. I'm really enjoying everything coming out of her mouth, minus that. When she was talking about, what did she say at the Healing and Thriving Fusion event? She said,
didn't she say something about Ashley?
Where's the auto-tune?
Auto-tune. Where's the auto-tune?
Right with the little jabs. It's an extra, like
her and Stacey were roasting the shit out of Ashley. And then, but somehow Mia was trying to be, no, we must support her. Did you notice that? Like Mia,
Mia was like, come on, bitches, clap.
Her big ass in. Yes, she compelled everyone to stand up. Okay, but what we were really talking about was Gizelle's behaviors. And I have a list. Can I just name the thing? Like the thing that makes this claim Gizelle as MVP, Gizelle as a decent person, Gizelle as enjoyable to watch. In this episode alone, there were at least 5 things, right? Like that was gross about Gizelle. 1, and I'm not going in order of the way the things unfolded, but 1, at Wendy's party, when she walks in, there is a person positioned to greet incoming guests. Gizelle is so busy avoiding that woman. That woman doesn't get a chance to greet her. And she's like, Gizelle's like, oh, this is nice. And literally turns her face so as to avoid that. So that woman can't do her job. And she's like, okay. As compared with Mia, who's walking into the party and passing strangers going, hello, good evening. But that was only in the live recorded version, I think. I think they cut that out of the Peacock one. So you have to check the live recording to see Mia greeting the strangers of Wendy's party. That's 1. 2, when they did that flashback to Jazzy's party when Gizelle was announcing Gizelle and Ashley were announcing the GNA Fusion event, she threw something in the room.
What?
She threw something. And everyone was like, what was that? And I think Darius bent down to whisper, like, why is she still talking? Okay.
I
She
missed
tried to
that.
commandeer that party to make her little announcement about the GNA Fusion event and threw something. Okay. Threw something at that event.
Oh my
That's
God.
that's 2. Watch the flashback. That's 2. 3, when that man who is flirting with Ashley throughout the party, Giselle's confessional account is like, he was trying to get with everyone. It's like, well, that's not what we saw. We saw him
Mm-mm.
consistently give Ashley attention. And she's like, Ashley needs to leave that man in the streets.
There was a moment where someone pointed to Stacy. He was giving Stacy attention.
Was it the same one? Because I
No,
looked
it
back
wasn't
at that
him. Yeah.
Stacy. Yeah, I looked back at
Oh,
that
I didn't
Stacy moment.
rewind, so I just assumed.
Yeah, it was. I
No,
don't think it was
no.
him. I don't think it was him. It was just a
Wow.
tall man.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a tall man. There, we have no reason to think it was him because I also tried. We couldn't see the person's head.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it's like leave that man in the street. I looked that man up. That man is a political analyst on Fox News. What do you mean leave him in the street? How is he in the street? Now, granted, he's a conservative, but that makes him perfect for Ashley. So
Yes,
so,
truly.
it
But
just feels like I'm. Oh, go ahead.
Gizelle loves to quick first impulse deride a black man. Remember when they said that thing about James Harden having fried chicken in his beard?
Oh yeah, her and Robin said that on their podcast.
And it's like
Oh,
Giselle's proud of Ashley having a white man
She's
having
not, because she wants to tease her about that too. But it's like only the black men Giselle decides are worthy of attention. Only they matter as people. But it's a quick anti-black reflex from that one. So.
only pastors and politicians for her, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
dear God.
and they need wives, so
Okay, then what's that? The 5th one, or am I at 4?
you're at 4.
The next one, it might be 5, is that it's Wendy's birthday party. Okay, I agree. Wendy's like little wave runner entrance was not like the compelling entrance it could have been to a party, but it's still her birthday and you're still a guest at her party. Why is that the first thing you greet her with? And she doesn't let go either. It's like, you were going in so many circles, we thought you'd never arrive. Wendy said, child, I didn't know if I was gonna arrive either. And she's like, yeah, what was that? Why did you like?
Well, that was the thing. She didn't let go there. She was talking about it beforehand. Nobody took it up when she said it the first time.
He literally called it a failed entrance. Like, girl, what do you?
Yep.
The dock is over. There was always over there. She was never gonna walk the muddy banks. What are you talking about?
It was just a way of saying like it wasn't cute, like, and she's just quick to attack and hate on Wendy in general. So it's like, hey, everyone, stop giving her so much rope. Like, you think that woman fundamentally changed in the like 3 months between the filming of the reunion and the starting back? It's actually 2 months, and the starting back up of the new season. She ain't do nothing different. She's not in therapy, and Giselle has problems. Okay, she needs them addressed professionally.
And she's wearing those problems on her face. Like, her dress was cute. Her body doesn't look bad, but like from the neck up, it's just like you're looking just miserable. Her face when she arrived, when she wasn't greeting the greeter, was just like, what we okay, this is nice, I guess. Just looking like
she was shocked it was nice, so her jealousy kicked in, and then she quickly soon after had to find her problems. So they expect us to walk in this on this it's like, calm down.
She and Ashley, I feel like
that ponytail was not giving. Sorry, go ahead.
But I feel they both just don't know their place this season. They're showing up awkwardly.
That much is clear.
Yep. And just jealous hating to like,
Yeah, maybe this will get me airtime. Because again, they're in the Hunger Games mentality. They know somebody's been cut. They don't know who exactly is going to make it with this next cherry blossom. So,
and it's true. It's like Giselle's not really delivering anything of substance for her to stay. So it's like, is that why y'all are going extra hard to preempt the possibility that she might get cut off because she's not doing anything? She said when the girls are away, mom will play or whatever. It's like, you ain't playing nothing. You've been miserable and mean.
You don't even have the pretense of Jason anymore to like do goofball sushi making with in the kitchen.
She might get a man. It looked in the preview, it looked like she was kissing someone, but it won't be serious, and we all know that. So.
I think that, not to say that she doesn't really care about brain cancer, not saying that at all, but this might be her off ramp. Like, I saw an interview clip she did with Kelly Clarkson recently about her work with
going out the pasture.
Huh?
I said going out to
pasture.
Yeah, I think that she Yeah, the interview was all about brain cancer and da 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 da. I think she's leaning into that, gonna be like, I'm gonna take GNA fusion to the next level and see herself out.
Mm.
But do you really believe there's nothing to take it to? That's the thing. Like,
Well, that's okay. GNA, there's nothing to take it to, but I think she might
what
I
and what
think
would
that
she do? Philanthropic work?
if she gets cut, that's gonna be her story. It's like, oh, I'm going full time doing philanthropy.
You have to
Everybody
have
will know it's
funds
a
to
cover
do
story.
philanthropy. Yeah, that and she can't be a philanthropist. She has no access to funds. Unless they hire her, she doesn't. You have like, and it's like, just does Gizelle know a ton of rich people? No.
She'll be a spokeswoman.
It's some, yeah, she'd have to be
Mm.
salaried to do it, but that would be her one. Maybe they won't be able to afford her.
She'd
So
be to Brain Cancer Society what Karen is to PAVE, but less
Yes.
compelling.
Yes. Yes.
okay, Karen is a hero for Pave. So
That's why I said less compelling. Karen does a good job raising awareness about PAVE.
you're right. You're right. She
Okay,
does. She
stop
does.
with this. All right,
Okay.
next.
Okay.
Or do you have any last? I agree.
No, I counted off my. I mean, I'm sure there were ones I missed. I wouldn't be surprised.
When should we? I really want to know when we're going to address this question about Karen, though. I know we don't have it anywhere stated.
There's so much to say about Care Bear.
Well, let's do it now then.
Yeah, she was dressed like Wednesday Addams, and I thought it was a weird choice to put that open toe strappy sandal with her all black long sleeve dress, but that's another thing. But what I found most confusing that I wanted to know, one, we saw the return of Ray. He made an appearance, and I feel like we should do a symptomatic reading of that encounter in the kitchen before they went to the courthouse. But mostly, she was holding hands like fingers. What is it? Fingers clutched with with the lawyer.
Let me
And
say that. Oh,
he did say before they like stay close to me, stay very close to. They didn't show that in the Peacock version either. This is the recorded version. He says repeatedly, stay close to me, stay very close to me. Like, most important thing is make sure you stay close to me. I was like, that's weird to emphasize that so many times.
Yeah.
But then I thought, okay, maybe there will be paparazzi and he's planning to protect her, which there weren't that many.
Yeah.
But it was just too much emphasis on stay close to me for when they got back. Yeah, exactly. Your husband is there, can be a certain kind of shield for you. And also, Karen does not run from a camera. So, what are you going to cover her?
And in fact, Ray probably needs to be held with how he was moving, like hold on to Ray because he's the older.
Yeah.
She was holding hands with the man
Mm-hmm.
because Ray would rather be golfing. Okay. I'm not holding your hand.
But he tried to save it. He tried to save it by saying she looked beautiful.
You look like a little girl, but not too little. That was freaky.
Okay. No, because you know what he was doing? And this is how he reminded me of somebody's man. If I had specified the status, then it would have been unequivocal. But it's like, because he was getting ready in every instance to start a jab and then pulled it back.
Yes, very.
And I'm not talking about Stacey's man, okay? I'm talking about somebody who we know.
Put it in the chat. I think I know, but let me not. Okay, that is
that was my code. Yeah. Because that's what he does. I've experienced him do that, like whatever. It's like he starts to be like, but I'll tell you what, you look young, and it's great. And it's like,
not like a baby. I mean, like a nice regular aged woman looking good.
Imagine sitting across from a 61-year-old and going, you don't look like a baby.
and what's like, so what could the place of the jab, where's that coming from? Like, are you complaining about her surgeries and you think like now she doesn't look like somebody who's your agent partner? Because we don't think
she asked for it. She was like, well, I feel okay, but I feel like how do I look though? She asked him for it. Maybe he doesn't.
So then this is how he was gonna jab her the only way he had available. So it wasn't even about, he doesn't have a problem with how she looks.
Yeah. No,
right?
I don't think
it's how she acts that he has a problem.
He doesn't like the surgeries. Remember in like season 5 or 6 or something like that. Like that's a bad influence on Raven. I don't like that. But then I think maybe like because Karen has a breast like de-augmentation when she takes it out. Maybe he's like, she has the cover of like, well, I'm not doing more distorting work, but then she has a facelift on.
He wanted the implants though. That's the thing he likes. That's what he will
Mm.
have said historically. But it's true when you think about it. Karen got this round of surgery right before the reunion was filmed in what, January or
Mhm.
February. So it's
Mhm.
not like we know how Ray felt about it, and except that we know how Ray feels about surgeries in general. So we're watching what happens in the wake of it, and it might be that he's like, can you stop? I don't like these. I mean, should she honor him? Not necessarily, but it looks like he's nursing some resentment and lashing out at her for it.
100.
But if yes,
In
yes,
addition
and
to law breaking.
I also feel though like it's, I mean, my instinct is that it's not a principled like, can you stop, in the way that I might say
Mhm.
stop, but more like, I can't reverse my old ass age, Karen, so you can't keep being hotter and looking better if you're gonna be 20 years younger than me or something.
Just like he was mad when she was, starting her new businesses. I don't think, although I do think Karen might be a difficult person to relate to when she's in her kind of most narcissistic moments. I don't think that she's making it up. Like, I think Ray is being insensitive and resentful. Like, he's struggling. Like, he's trying, right? Like, he's like, no, I guess I meant with the golfing. Just wouldn't you rather be
Yeah,
golfing as
you'd be
well?
golfing too. And she's like, no, I need to get this over with. He'd be
I
like,
would like, yeah. And then he's
well,
like, yeah, that
And the
makes
way
sense.
and the
Mhm.
way he delivered it was insensitive. It's like, but you know what? I'd rather be golfing than coming with you to it's like,
yeah, no, you
Ray.
couldn't deliver that sensitively at all. It's like,
Well, you could have said like, but don't you wish we were golfing instead? You see how I put the emphasis on the we?
it
Then
started
she
because
would have
she
known what he meant.
asked how he was feeling, and then to respond, I'd rather be
Mhm.
golfing is like, what?
And every comment he made led with a like, but, right? Like
Mhm.
a contradiction of something she's saying or whatever. And it's like,
Exactly. And it was tense. Like they were pretty, I mean, I get that it was morning, but
mhm.
they were
I
pretty
also feel like the camera is a character here too. Like I feel like I almost was reading it as like Ray got in big trouble with Karen for saying like, I don't know if I love you all those seasons ago. And so his
Mhm.
like awareness of the camera is like, yeah, I'm angry at you. Yeah, I want to lash out or something. But the camera said, yeah, I would rather be I mean, when you, I mean, like almost like
yeah.
some speaking more than he would otherwise speak to get it right in front of the camera.
Yeah, like that guy I invoked that we know. In other words, like Ray is somebody who like Karen is invested in putting forth a good image of
Mhm.
something. So he's like, oh yeah. Let me calm my meanness down. I forgot they're watching. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what I think is going on. Okay, but then with respect to the lawyer, when they get back, I think Karen is mad at him. And I picked this up more in the live version than the Peacock version. But I think she's mad because she's like, it's like wow, they changed it in subtle ways, but it's like the way that they're talking at that table afterwards, he's like, and that's exactly how it was supposed to go. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm
You didn't tell
tired.
me. Yeah.
I'm tired. It's like she's like, it's almost like, are you still talking? Time to leave my house. And then she's like, Ray, you'll see him out. I'll go upstairs. Karen's not like that. Karen will have walked her guest out to the front
Yeah.
door normally. You know what I mean?
It
But
made
she's
me
leaving
wonder.
early.
It made me wonder if that man, like, I was reading that too when he said, and that's exactly what we wanted. And I was like, did Karen know that then? Because it's like, if you had a defense strategy that was about delaying or getting more time to build a more robust defense, why did she think that she was going to get it over with today? Like,
No, he's lying. He's a lawyer.
It made Karen seem like she was a liar. It made it seem like,
Giselle acted like she was a liar on the basis of it, right?
when
well, but even
Karen said it.
like
Or
my,
Mia.
myself as a viewer, I wouldn't have thought anything if it was postponed.
Mhm.
But postponed, and then the lawyer goes, "Yeah, that's what we wanted." I was like, "Oh, that was the strategy," and like obviously it was his strategy, but it also made me question: was this Karen's? Where
I
she?
could believe it. I could believe postponement as a strategy for something like a DUI, especially if it's a second one, to like get more time to do something. But I was just like, why are y'all not on the same page about that? Like, why would he say that's exactly what we wanted, and her just in the scene before be saying like, I'm looking forward to get it over with.
He's lying. He is lying. He's lying because she's saying to Ray, like, I want to get it over with. Exactly. And it's like, if your attorney should be telling you about what the defense is. Like the defense they are building in your name, they should be telling you about it. And she reads bullshit. She's like, oh, word. Okay, well, I'm gonna go take a nap, Ray. See the help. I mean, see this nice young man out. Like, and the way he acted after, he was putting on more of a persona of like confidence, even this time around, which you can tell is a reflexive reaction to Karen questioning his abilities. Like she was done with him by that point. Yo, I'm gonna watch both. I'm gonna watch the Peacock and the live one back to back and read what the small differences are to say, because I was struck by that the first time I saw it.
And then Ray, you know what Ray says once he says, Ray is like, well, we appreciate your representation. So like, he says, like, let me
which,
try to
which is the most meager thank you ever, right? Like it's basically sarcastic. Yeah. No, I think the judge also probably embarrassed the lawyer. Like he probably, you know, like he didn't look good in the courtroom. And then Karen's like, so you weren't so, and he goes, this is what we wanted. We wanted this yes.
All right, well, from one threesome to another, now let's look at
Do not imply a threesome. You're gonna break up the Hugo relationship.
That's an institution, Catherine. You coming for that institution?
Yeah, Ashley.
I only want the best for the Hoogers. Okay.
Oh my God.
Not on my watch. Don't do that.
That's one of my favorite things from this season is Mia.
Why?
It's Karen Hooger. Order an Uber. No, Mia's just dyslexic. She said Hooger.
Yeah, it doesn't sound. It sounds.
Oh,
like,
it wasn't on
girl,
purpose.
say the words right.
She's like, girl, you are Karen Hooger. Order an Uber. That's what she said.
It's so funny that it's like, girl, let me tell who you are, and it was the wrong name.
But now she's doing it on purpose. She's going around doing it on purpose.
Okay, no, I don't like that.
She's sick.
I do not like that. Okay. But let's talk about Mia, Ink, and Gordon. Thoughts on their showing this episode?
It's a lot to track, and I'm confused. So
yeah. We didn't get too much of Ink, except as he may or may not be instrumentalized in certain dynamics. But one thing I like, one thing I wanted us to know, just some things I'm picking up on in the discourse, like people chatting about this. Of course, this is the like hot topic still of the season, even though people are talking about it a lot, and much of what they're saying is make this stop. Okay. But also some of what they're saying is like, one very popular tweet was like, Mia is claiming that G is in a manic episode, and all he's done is say, I don't want to be around. You know, they're acting like he's saying something quite reasonable. He's not in a manic episode, right? And it's like, I think I just want to intervene on that, because it's like, yeah, we saw that one scene in the kitchen, and maybe that didn't look like mania to y'all. Although the first thing I thought was like, oh, G might be in a manic episode, because it's not Tom Cruise jumping on a couch necessarily, right? Like, and there's intensities. So if you know, he starts cutting people off, no, like when he was cutting Mia off in that scene, I thought he was being fairly like belligerent in the cutting of her off, right? Like, and the way Mia might be tall, but her voice is like this. And she's like, no, Gordon, and he's like, no, answer my question, Ink. To the point that Ink kind of felt threatened, like, well, okay, homie, I'm not coming at you crazy. So
and to Ellen's favorite word, he's incorrigible, which to me like resonates with experience with people in mania, where it's like, you can't really intervene to change the trajectory of what they're talking about. It's not a conversation. It's like no. This is what's happening. Even if it doesn't seem crazy, it's just like, I'm proliferating an account. No, it's this. And so Mia's like, Gordon, no, remember, you were not being kind to me. Then he's like, no. And then he changes his strategy. And he changed his strategy,
because he was like, oh, he was knocked out by that. Oh yeah, I wasn't. Anyway, I'm leaving. Like,
exactly.
Oh.
He and Mia both change strategies.
They do. Which is why it's like, hey, that's a big sign. Mia also has a personality disorder. If we're, you know, like, clearly.
Clearly.
the other thing is like, I mean, back to our keeping in mind that Mia was in foster care and, drawing on, I'm sure, a wealth of literature that we're not invoking. But also just like personal experiences, like people who have been in foster care have a tendency to lie, you know, throughout their lives because it's like a strategy for keeping yourself safe, keeping yourself.
I mean, not to speak to, I'm thinking about
Yeah.
one person to me in particular. It's compulsive, it's
Yeah.
like come up like, and you're thinking, well, what is the strategy behind this? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the strategy is to get through the moment.
Uh-oh.
Ooh,
Sorry. I also think the strategy is to, I mean, you can trace the strategy oftentimes, and the strategy is self-aggrandizement. Like, oftentimes the lying takes the form of like elevating yourself because then you become more desirable. So then like the potential adoptive families want you, or you know what I mean? Like that's another key one. Or you get support. I think Mia's is like she's looking to be supported, like attention broadly, but also like like emotional comfort and support. And that kind of makes sense. Like, if we think
but
about
it's
what we know
happening
of her
so
childhood, it's like support.
quickly. I guess I said it's not strategy because it's happening so quickly. It's not necessarily something planned. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's how I'm operating.
Of,
Just
Well,
uh,
both of those seem to conform. Like if you think about the GNA event afterwards, she's like, I was gonna sit down and talk to Jacqueline, but you can come too because you're my friend. Everybody, friends gather around, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm about to cry, I'm about to cry. Basically, he said I was an adulterer and that you had an abortion, and everybody's like, wait, what? And she's like, how are you gonna tell people what I did with my body? And it's like, wait, are you disclosing that? Like people are just kind of like bewildered, and it feels like Mia feels good to just have the people around to hear her say whatever the thing is she's gonna say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and compulsive means compelled too, right? Like, so I take your point, Catherine. Like, not always conscious or deliberate or planned or thought out, right? Like, there is some level of consciousness I think that happens, like, where it's like, oh no, they're like, as in like she's watching the people, oh no, am I losing them? And then doop, it comes like that. But it's not like, let me sit here and map a strategy necessarily.
exactly.
Who does that? Giselle. Giselle maps a fucking strategy for
Yes.
the season.
Yes.
Plays
Like
long games.
Y'all are falling for the strategy.
Mia's fall. Touche. Oh, touche. The ones who are endorsing Giselle's
Yes,
behavior.
not y'all, not
Exactly.
you two.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, who?
I know.
No, I knew you weren't us, but I
So
didn't know
upset.
whose strategy.
What we doing?
But Mia is drawing from her actual, she's always reflecting some bit of truth, but she's telling partial truths, or she's inflaming this or that thing insofar as she thinks like, okay, this is what people are going to empathize with. This is what they're going to sympathize with. This is what they're going to support me on.
Yeah.
So, like I think in the confessional, when they ask her, so what you said, Ink was going to back away, but then you were with him the next day. What's going on with that? She was like, I mean, and then she's back away when we want to, am I right? But she actually could have had a very reasonable account of that.
Yeah.
But she felt like she was in trouble, and she felt like she was in trouble, so she had a conniption.
Yeah.
It was crazy because it really did not read as like a moment of being backed into a corner. It's like, it's like, no, Mia, you weren't in the wrong necessarily. Like what I heard you say to Gizelle and the women at the GNA event was like, Ink said, if I'm such a trigger to Gordon, then I'll remove myself, which is not a promise
Right. It
to
was an
immediately.
if and statement.
Exactly. It's like, I could if it comes to that. That's what I heard. But then,
but the fear of abandonment kicked in, and she may have even oversold how much Ink was committed to doing that, because she knew that would garner the sympathy of but I think she was legitimately worried about the prospect of that, because who knows what happened after the argument, because Ink could have been like, you had an abortion, why did I not learn of that?
I was surprised. Did you all take from the clip that we saw last week, did you think that he didn't know about the abortion?
He said he didn't.
Here's the thing. This is the first time I'm taking seriously the possibility that that's true. I just thought it was words, because I just don't know, like, You know, I was like, okay, should I invest in believing and pursuing the like timeline and the sense making that the abortion might offer in the scheme of things like Mia and Gordon's relationship, or is that just another thing being said? I
Here's
don't.
how I can make sense out of it. It's like, well, who would be lying about that, Gordon? She didn't deny it, so it's true.
Right. Yeah.
So, and here's
And her
why.
response at GNA was like, "All right, just for the world to know, this is true." You know.
Yeah, he already outed it. So now
But
she
she
like,
said when she was at GNA, she was like, and Gordon said you're an adulterer, and he said you had an abortion, and then it's like, did he say that, or
Well,
are
but
you
then she
telling us
said
that?
he doesn't have the right to tell people what I do with my body. So that's
wait,
like,
what do you
okay, you're
mean? Did he
confirming
say
it.
that? Why are you questioning if he said that? He did say it.
No, I'm just saying, are you telling them that he said that? Are you telling them that you had an abortion? You know, because Gordon might have
Oh,
said you're mean, or Gordon might have said it's your
Exactly.
fault, or Gordon might have said you ain't shit. But like
But I
that,
think she is telling them once she adds that second part of he has no right to tell people what I do with my body. That was personal, you know.
wait, why is it? I'm confused about Kristen. What you're
I
wondering
just
about?
don't know if I should believe. I'm saying I wasn't sure if I should believe that Mia had an abortion just because Gordon said it.
I
Is
think if she didn't have an abortion, she would have denied it right in front of him,
yeah,
especially when her boyfriend says that's news to me.
right. But Kristen was only saying, is
Yeah.
she saying this to get sympathy from the women? Like, is look at how mean he is. He's in mania, or did it
Yeah.
actually happen?
Yeah, but I think the way it was received, she fell silent when he brought it up, and Ink said that's news to me, and she went, um,
Yeah.
like she had been exposed
Right.
and surprised. She was surprised to be exposed, and I
Mhm.
think the reason why it's plausible that this is a sticking point among the three of them is that obviously Ink is eager to be a father.
That's right. That's
So
right.
Yeah.
back then, when they were having relations, and it's like, she cheating on you? I don't actually believe she was cheating on him back then.
Me neither. Who?
When,
Gordon
even
or
though
me?
Gordon, yeah, even though Gordon
Gordon.
is now
Yeah.
saying that that initial time she was cheating, when I don't believe that's true,
I don't think
because
so.
she wouldn't have told you she was having an abortion if it
Right.
was.
Right.
That's
Right?
right.
Of
That's
course,
true.
she could have confessed it after the fact, but I don't think so. I think he knew, and he was like, okay, yeah, get rid of it. And she's
Mhm.
probably like, he wants to be with me, and she didn't want to be with him. She was
Yep.
not prepared to like suffer the, like, I don't know, loss of material access that it would have meant to
Right.
go full time, have a baby by Ink, and go be with him. And I
Right.
think she made the choice, no, let me stick with Gordon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for
So
sure.
she can't be totally forthcoming about that, because Ink is going to be like, what? He's going to feel betrayed.
Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
While he's fighting to claim custody of this kid who was being raised by Gordon for many years, right? So
That's all I'm saying is that I was just like, it's hard for me to settle into a sense of what happened because like, you know, Mia is also saying that Ink is the father of Jeremiah when she just told us that she had IUI and knows that Gordon is. And it's just, I think what it's a symptom of, what I'm expressing a symptom of is just like, I don't settle seamlessly into what Mia says anymore. I keep
yeah,
a distance.
Right.
I'm like,
yeah, yeah, and that's what Giselle said. Like, I can't believe anything out of her mouth. But it's like, yeah, like, and you don't really have to believe anything out of her mouth, whatever that means. But you can think about what makes sense. And it's like, I just want people to approach Mia like that, right? Like, think about what makes sense. Like, what makes sense. It's like she bypasses what makes sense and inflames things to make them more interesting, so she can have more attention. So sometimes you can hear through that, like, especially if you know how kids lie, then
Yeah.
you can hear the lying strategies. But anyway, it's worth it to parse the timeline of what happened, because Mia stumbled over that question, right? Like, um, me and Ink, we're gonna take a break, but it kind of makes sense when you think about the timeline. They have Mia, and Ink have that argument in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
The next day or so is the GNA event, where Mia is reporting still shaken over that conflict. The day after that, Mia posts to Instagram,
Because they
G,
had,
Ink, and Patrick is the third man in that image. Patrick is
mhm.
Jacqueline's boyfriend,
Oh,
ex-boyfriend.
okay, yeah.
And the
Mhm.
kids, yeah.
Yes, them having a pool party in the building, and her caption is the, like, joy. Nothing compares to the joy of seeing the fathers of your children get along.
Mm.
Right? So it's like, by the time Wendy's birthday happens, these are consistent things. These are consistent things if we think about the vicissitudes of manic episodes versus depressive episodes. G could have meant every word of what he said in the kitchen that day, and then his feelings change 2 days later when he's hanging out by the pool and he's like, I don't want to miss out on access to Mia. And I actually enjoy ink. I don't want to miss out on access to Mia and the like life we establish. And I believe he likes ink.
I think he enjoys the whole, he doesn't want to be outside of the family.
Exactly.
Yeah. And think also about his situation, because it's like, I don't know a man who's going to, G has lost his money, right? He's lost his like financial standing in a kind of way. So he doesn't have that to like hide behind and aggrandize himself and go get another new Mia who's gonna get with him for his money. So he's like, oh, if I have to level with myself.
Although he does have a new girlfriend these days.
He does. But he's like, if I have to level with myself, I enjoy this. I do enjoy I do enjoy being around my kids. Ink is the kind of dude I would fuck with, like regardless of how I met him or whatever.
They could have met at the strip club, the two of them.
They have.
And Ink likes to party. And it's like, okay, this I think also like having squared the like, movement of events, I think it helps us think about something Mia also says in one of these confessionals that maybe I'm going to propose something radical, but it's like Mia said something that helps us depathologize or challenge the pathologization of bipolar disorder, right? Because she says to account for the difference between G's angry performance in the kitchen and his having a good time by the pool with Mia and her now lover, she says, what are the exact words she uses? She's like, the way G is set up, more or less, when his feelings change, his view changes.
Right.
That's what she says. And I think the interesting part about that is like, that's everybody.
Yeah. Even if you don't avow it, it is you.
Exactly.
You'll just rationalize it in a different way.
And the only people who are not doing it, I mean, there are types of people who don't do it, right? Like, and arguably Catherine and I are two people who are vulnerable to not doing it, are the kinds of people who repress or devalue their feelings, right? Like who like invest in a kind of like rational way of being in the world, a rational subjectivity, so that some feelings will emerge. And that's if you don't recognize feelings as a source of knowledge. Some feelings will emerge and you go, no, shut up, because I'm going to keep it consistent. I'm going to have integrity. I'm going to be rational, and I'm going to proceed with the view I started with.
Right.
We are actually encouraged and conditioned to be like that. But what you might consider bipolar as indexing is this like space a person can get into where they decide to be led by their feelings. Right? Like the good and the bad that comes with that also.
The thing about like the root of decide, what do they call, the whatever, the root word, the Latin, is to kill. Okay. And in these situations where it's like, oh, I've decided my path,
like suicide.
And you don't let any feelings or anything make you stray from the path that you decided before you experienced, It's like you're killing off all of these possibilities. You're killing off
possibility.
like it's like, no, listen to yourself,
Yep, exactly. And as we just underscored, it's not difficult to empathize with the shift of feelings G might experience, right? Like looking at ink sometimes reminds me that I've lost my wife to this man. That doesn't make ink a monster. That doesn't even make me a monster.
Right.
Okay. It's easy to empathize with G's position in that regard. And then, like some time passes and I go, I'm lonely here by myself. I want to be hanging. Mia has the kids these weekend. I want to be hanging out with them, having a good time.
You want to punish the people for the situation, but then that means that you're alone, and then you're sad that you're alone. And then
Exactly.
And that's a punishment in of itself. So then you want to go be, happy again.
Right. So, anyway, it's like the point is just to say, like, we don't have to move with the pathologization of bipolar disorder that, like, the dominant discourse, even like the medical institutions invite us to do. And to depathologize, I think, just means to, like, think more robustly about it and more empathetically. Like, oh, we can actually all relate to this. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is actually descriptive of what humans are normally up to. So,
And to this root word investigation word to the professor over here is like, it's also called a disorder for a reason, because it literally makes you not be ordering in compliance with the given order, but also like constructing a sense of order to what you will do in your future plans. It subjects your present moment to the like whims of what your feelings are. And it's like, you're not actually able to overrule them in the same way that like we all might have been trained by the order to do to our feelings.
yeah. And we know a lot of people like that in our lives who aren't all going to get diagnoses, and we don't need to insist that they be diagnosed with something, right? Like, we can just go, oh, that person is more willing to take up the knowledge entailed in their feelings, even if they don't regard their feelings as knowledge, even if, because I imagine G clearly feels bad about his episodes, right? Like, he's being conditioned to think that it's bad. So he'll have to overcome it with meds and therapy, right? But it's like, yeah. Anyway, there's another way to look at it, is really the point.
Even the non-compliance of many people who are diagnosed with bipolar disorder to be on meds is itself an expression of the like sense that the feelings actually have more sense than whatever medication can do.
And saying a refusal to, like, betray yourself yeah. Okay. The other thing I want to reference with respect, it's like Mia also said something really, another insight from Mia, but it's about her strategies, her lying strategies. And she says this when she's talking about Karen, and I believe it's at the Wendy's birthday party, so the last scene. And she says, yeah, Karen needs to just admit, say she's sorry, or Karen needs to just say she needs help, because then she gets her power back, because then we have to support her, because that's what real friends do.
Right.
And she just admitted there what her strategy is. Say I'm suffering, I need help. Yep. Then I get power back, because now everybody has to give me love and attention.
Yep.
Who's calling, Karen?
No. Karen. Go on.
No, that was it. It's just like, wow, like, she said it about Karen, and she, it was instructional. She was like, first you admit you need help, then you get your power back, because when you need help, people have to help you, and that makes you powerful.
Serve you. Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, like, because we don't all think that.
Said it on camera.
And we don't all think that, right? Like, most of us operate with, no, that makes me vulnerable, and then people will take advantage of me, but not Mia, not in Mia's eyes.
And Mia just gave us a crash course in it at the GNA event. Like, she was like, come on, ladies, gather around. I need support and help, because y'all are my friends.
She said, I know this sounds untoward or not sophisticated, but I need help. And then they have to go, and she what, right? Like, if Giselle's going like this, Mia says another thing, and Gizelle goes, oh, and then rubs her leg.
Exactly.
So wise girl, that means.
No,
wise liar.
There is some strategy there. She actually told us.
Yeah. So unconscious or not. Like, I think
there are levels of it,
Exactly.
And that's what makes it hard, because then sometimes she throws out something so random, but it's like other times, All right. Well, in the interest of time, I say we go right to Stacy.
Yes. Okay. Let's.
People have had a lot to say about Stacy and TJ. This episode, we got some insights. So
we did.
It starts with.
Besides, go on. I was gonna say, besides Stacy's, we have to congratulate her on her winning moments, right? Like her comedy as well. Because I would argue
Ashley's singing was like her dancing.
She did say
that was good. And then I thought she did a callback to that when she and TJ were walking in, and he was like, your timing's off. And she's like,
oh my God, that is what she was doing. That's clever girl that Stacey.
Yes,
We love
yes.
it. And I would argue that's what makes her like Kenya as well, okay?
I love her. I really love Stacey.
Aw, that's beautiful. I do too. She really did.
I was skeptical of her at the beginning, and I wasn't
I
even
know.
ashamed to say it, but she has won me over.
Yeah.
And this is why people saying like, we word to our dispatches when people are like, oh, Ashley is indicative of this kind of person who's just like, you ain't got no flavor. You're doing Valley Girl or whatever. It's like, no, read critically, okay? You're
Yeah.
doing a surface reading. Yes, her voice sounds like it's highly stylized or informed by whatever, but it's like, no, she's critical, she's sharp, she peeps game. She's over here reading. Like she has a lot going for her, actually.
Ashley said that after multiple times of hanging out together. If that's your read on the first, you just briefly met her, totally appropriate read. But it's like, you've been to her house 3 times now. You've been to a lake vacation. Like, it's just like, come on now. Come on.
I don't even think her voice is like a Valley Girl. It's just over enunciates everything. But so does Ashley, except when she's faking a black accent. I don't say faking to say Ashley doesn't have that in her, and it wasn't, but she wields it strategically. That's
she plays it up. She plays it up. Yeah.
And again, I would say unconsciously, but she only uses it in certain times. I don't think she realizes.
You're right. So we shouldn't even say strategically, right? Like the black scent is marked to disparage and criticize and censure people.
And the white scent is meant to make her be an upstanding, rational, self-governing, highly self-possessed being.
Oh, but the flavor is actually strategic. Because what she means by that is the way I style myself. Because it's like sometimes you want to be bohemian. Sometimes you're going for boho, and then when the ratings are low for you, you go, give me the black edit, please.
We have not seen Ashley in her boho bag like that, huh? This season.
No, but the house was named for a boho bag.
Yeah, boho's expensive. When she realized now,
I ain't got it.
Yeah, like she started decorating.
Shein it is. I'll take it.
No, you can thrift for boho, but
Ashley doesn't.
You have to have a taste. You have to have a point of
view. She wouldn't know what to look for. Aritzia is expensive. That's true. Okay. But we had a close read of some key TJ moments, which helped shed some light on Stacey and TJ's affairs.
And on this battle that you all had last time about whether or not the question of TJ liking Stacey is appropriate at this stage.
Yes. I will say
I stand by what I said, but Ellen can speak.
Well, that's a shame. And this is exactly what I was talking about. When you don't change your view when the feelings change. Okay?
Madam,
what I was gonna say is we met in the middle.
Oh,
no, I take it back.
I do agree with what you're about. Okay, so I get
no, it's not that I wouldn't even say we met in the middle, although that's one way to frame it. It's that I was saying like this idea that TJ doesn't like Stacey feels too hastily undertaken. And to this day, I still wouldn't say that but it's like I think am I putting the cart before the horse if I say I think TJ is a narcissist?
No, I think quite common.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like I think he's a narcissist. Narcissists really like, insofar as a narcissist can like, but their energy is really bound up in themselves. So it's probably not the kind of like a lot of people want, but a lot of people do want it. It's like a cheap make you feel special.
I wouldn't call that. I guess that's where we're meeting is that we agree that he's a narcissist. I would then say he's not capable of liking her.
Oh, you can't say that about narcissists. Yeah. I mean, you could, but it's like then they become what zoo animals that
I am always
Dr. Ramani says that.
I said exactly. She said put them all on an island and don't let them mate. Just let them date each other, she said. She was calling for some eugenics project, okay?
I would much give me a psychopath any day, but a narcissist, no.
Okay, we're not gonna touch that.
That's a lot to parse.
You don't mean it. But the thing also about why I think we can't throw away narcissists that is because they are increasingly among us, right? Like
That's what scares me. The aliens are taking over,
and we all exist in relation to the narcissist, right? Like, what happens when you have a narcissistic parent? You pick up narcissistic traits, like. That's how it works.
Well, okay,
right?
I think that narcissistic people are capable of love, But I
They
think
should have
if
rights.
you are capable of receiving a diagnosis for narcissism, I think that's a high level that I
You're
don't.
putting too much faith in the
I know,
medical.
but okay, it's the diagnosis is marking a spectrum, so let me not even say.
Yeah, and don't let it do that, because a therapist will
Good.
they will miss a lot of narcissists who don't
Exactly.
pass through their shit. But
They
I
will
saw you
themselves be the narcissist, Dorothy.
and Romney, I believe Romney.
And Romney?
I could
Ooh.
totally see that.
Okay.
That's what she.
Okay, it's awful. But check
When we
out
post-
Dr. Romney on
When we
narcissism.
post this, I'm gonna put hashtag Dr. Romney. Get her crew.
No, don't send more people her way, okay? She's only gonna get worse.
You'll be interested in her videos. Click
Yes,
clack, everyone.
That's true. That's true. But Craig Malkin is actually my preferred narcissism specialist. And the thing I was just gonna say is, if you were in a relationship with a narcissist, Catherine, as I believe you are, I would discourage you from being around them for sure. Because it's like, with lots of experience myself, I think it's really unsafe. Like, psychically, it's unsafe.
Mhm.
But I do think they are, they have feelings. They're just like us. They're just like us.
They're just like us, but they don't love me.
Yeah, but also
and
there
I
are
feel that
regular
I
people
see
who don't
that
love.
in this relationship with Stacy and TJ.
No, I think it's just that it's not the kind of love we might want for ourselves, which is perfectly fucking fair. But some people do. Like, the narcissist positions a beautiful woman as their trophy. Think about Ashley dated a narcissist and she loved it. Yes, Kristen, are you drinking?
Yes. Did you acknowledge me? Did you acknowledge it?
Yes. Illegal. We see it and we love
Yeah,
it.
Costco's finest.
Costco's finest. But just like, okay, Michael Darby was a narcissist and Ashley loved every second of it, because the way she's kind of starved for love, she'll take that kind especially. They're only getting a divorce because Michael really didn't want her, despite what the family's trying to narrate. We'll get there later. But okay, let me just make my case for TJ the narcissist, okay? A narcissist is also a people pleaser, you will often find, right? So at the GNA event, that's when we first see TJ this episode. He's wearing a GNA shirt and they're like, okay, we see you. And he's like, yeah, I was just trying to fit in, which I was like, oh, that's sweet, because I'm vulnerable to narcissists. And then later the camera pans to him, like, sitting back, like, where'd Stacy go? Like, and it seems
Not
like
the center of attention.
he's not
He
the
has to
center of
talk to old
attention.
Crusty Ray in the back,
And then later at Wendy's party, that's his grievance once again. And it's like, hey, guy, I know y'all are kind of new in your relationship, but ask the husbands. They all know the show is for or they learn the hard way. The show is for the women. Brace yourself to take a back seat when filming is happening.
That is also why I have in the past compared him to Jacqueline. He's not willing to do
Jacqueline's a housewife now.
Well, so
oh no, she's a friend of, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
No, she's not. She's a main housewife. They made Jazzy a friend of.
Not a tagline.
Yes.
But you know what? They decided this first episode because they had made her a housewife.
No.
But
They did. They announced that she was a housewife, and then they pivoted and took it from her. Right?
Yeah, they announced someone else, but in the season, she is not.
Yeah, she doesn't have a tagline. Okay, neither does Jazzy. Okay, but
or TJ, he doesn't have a tagline either.
Or TJ.
Nor does TJ.
Was never gonna have one.
And so then the other key piece of evidence is, like, when they walk into Wendy's party, he's like, you walked at 125. You have to put the captions on to see what he actually said. He said, you went at 125. And she said, well, my timing is off. So what I deduced they're referring to is whenever I learned this from Chris Bassett in an interview. Whenever they're showing up somewhere, it's not just that the camera is coincidentally there catching them making their entrance. They have them restage it, right? So they're like, okay, go there. And then, so the camera probably counted down 3, 2, or whatever the time was. And she went early. That's what TJ is saying. And she's like, oh, my timing is off. But the truth is, she works on Talk TV, right? Like,
more than Talk, QVC. She's showing the items. Oh, look at my here, camera to the
And
left.
literally on QVC, they will be staging 4 items at once. So timing is all the more important because it's like, all right, pivot
Then
to
suddenly you have a guest.
bracelet. Now pivot to the toaster oven. Okay, now this.
So in other words, it's not actually likely that she missed the timing, the cue to walk on. And when she said it, she said, I'm not good with time. Like her face was like, did I?
And she was looking very cute with her little side-strapped white dress and, her fresh look. So I think she was feeling herself and it was like, that's enough.
And even more than feeling herself in particular, I suspect they had a conflict, especially after the GNA event, where he said, you need to stop abandoning me. You need to stop deserting me at these events, or I'm going to kill you. I don't know what he's threatening her with.
Well, my question, I have a follow-up for you, Ellen. Or I guess the follow-up is about the Chris Bassett interview. Are they not allowed to walk in before they do their special entrance, or are they already inside and then they redo it? Because maybe already he saw what it was going to be once inside. Like, oh, you're talking to the housewives people, and I'm already feeling alienated. And now we're coming out here,
I'm not Ellen, but I think it's actually like you target your question to Ellen, but I think the GNA event is the important context that gives us the sense that he's already primed to. I don't even know if he felt ignored or abandoned as much as he took the opportunity to abuse her or punish her for it. Like TJ is a little cornball. He seems social in these different arenas. Like you couldn't chat with people. You weren't trying to chat with people. You were just trying.
No, he was chatting with Ray, right? But yeah,
at Wendy.
Ray told us he had a personal computer in 1975. I was so happy for him.
You're saying at GNA as opposed to
he was sitting on the mat, and other people.
He probably did chat, but that's not what he wanted to be where the cameras were. And the GNA shirt, it's like we did invoke that, but I just had another thought occur to me. Like belonging is so important for the narcissist. Because they have to be.
Or go ahead.
Kristen, you go.
You go. Oh, I'm
going.
You
go. You go.
Ellen's gonna pop up. I'm not Kristen, but
I watched both the live recording last night and the Peacock one this morning, and I caught in the Peacock one that they were handing the GNA shirts out at some point during the event, but you didn't see nobody else wearing the ones that they got. It's like everybody came in clothes for working out, but then GNA was passing out GNA shirts, so it's like, oh, TJ just went ahead and put his on.
Oh, you think that's what? Okay. Either way, it speaks to his desire to blend in, like he already belongs with the people throwing the event, right? The rest of the housewives did not put no GNA shirt on.
Listen.
But TJ said, I'm gonna look like I work here.
I really, even though I made a joke at the beginning about disagreeing with what you were gonna say, I agreed. But now that we're talking more about who TJ is, I'm getting re-triggered. I really do not like TJ. But
you never liked him.
I don't. But
I find him to be
might garner empathy.
The same way I would say I hated Michael, but I was like, ooh, Michael's up to some shit. Like I was lit for it.
Right? I just think TJ is unpredictable in a way that I'm like, what's gonna happen next with him?
And for me, it's not really a matter of embarrassing Stacey. For me, it doesn't work that way. It's like, especially after that man becomes a narcissist, narcissists can become predictable, but we don't have enough intel or data yet to make him more predictable, but he will become predictable to us. But
very soon he will. If they give him time, he'll become predictable.
But I think I'm not here to mark Stacey as because sometimes the discourse was also at risk of shitting on Stacey for being with this man, and it's like nah, let Stacey shine independent. Let's call this a little plot point. Let's call this man the foil or whatever. Whatever bad behavior he has, he will embarrass himself. He won't embarrass Stacey.
And I guess
still shining.
Yeah, Michael was a good comparison because I was lit to talk about him, but I feel like I have the impulse of protect Stacey,
Yeah.
But I think Stacey, even when I think you're right, that it did seem they were beefing at Wendy's party. And I think when Jazzy's like, oh, so where's TJ? And she's like, where is my best friend?
Yes.
Where is my
That
best
friend.
friend? You know, like she's
Yeah.
her own little. And Stacey's whole bag is that I'm never gonna be nasty, so I'm always gonna do a diplomatic. Ashley puts a great effort with those notes. Like she's just doing that kind of thing.
Yes. And that's the thing too. Like I don't even say, oh, I feel this impulse to protect her from the crowd of people that are like thinking this is a, you know, a bad reflection of her. I'm like, no, from TJ, you know.
Okay, but before we move to the next thing, one thing we didn't yet cover, but we had in our plans was this raising the prospect that the whole sex thing, withholding sex, I don't want to say withholding, but whatever, is the possibility is that TJ was the victim of sexual assault. And we were thinking about this based on how like attractive and fine he was back in the day as a child or young person star. And it's like, let's consider that audience. Like
And
maybe
also the
TJ was
industry that he was in, or he is
right.
in.
Right.
Very
And the
important.
black man that he is, right?
Exactly.
Like black men get fetishized and are vulnerable to violation as well.
And what industry but the showbiz is gonna be like, you want to be a star? Take off your clothes, you know?
Literally, Michael Darby, none other than Michael Darby, who we were just talking about, is a key figure who will have violated black men, who will have looked at them, sexualized them, and then exploited them because he felt powerful, right? And those are people, you was doing it on camera. So the camera being close at hand has never stopped like white people who are drunk off power from violating whatever. So
shout out,
it's
Catherine. What's the name of that documentary about the Nickelodeon man? Just shout that out.
Quiet on Set.
Mm-hmm.
4-part series. Yep.
And Sister was, I forget what network it was on, but it's that same vibe.
WB. The WB.
And what I learned in Quiet on Set is that the same predators were going from studio to studio. Oh, you got caught touching someone at Nickelodeon? Oh, you have a new job at Disney, you know?
And and Tia and Tamara were like, the whole is very close to Nickelodeon and Disney, as we know. Yeah. So it's possible that that's what's happening. And so TJ's kind of protective of his body. And it's not incompatible with the narcissism thing because it's like TJ's thrust into the spotlight when he's young, valued on the basis of something superficial. Because there are theories that like the way, a key dynamic in the childhood of somebody who becomes a narcissist is that they both have extreme praise and extreme debasement.
And sexual assault is that is sexual
at
assault.
extreme levels. Yep. It's like extreme praise on the basis of something superficial, so he can't actually develop confidence.
Wow.
No, I gotta start reading your sincerity better because I
what did you
no, she didn't know you were being sincere.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he's like, oh, okay, now that's real. That's real.
just take a beat, then you'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it really came like a second later. I said, oh no. It was moved,
I really.
I have that built in too. It's like Catherine speaks, and then I could react right away. I go, okay, okay, heard it.
I'm learning.
But that that might also be happening here, and then like the control is reflective of the way they will have controlled his body as a young person on the TV, like because he's trying to control Stacey, right? Like
he literally says, "Get your hand off of me!" Like it's like, oh, I'm your lover, man. What are you talking about? I'm your.
And I saw Stacey's face, and she's like, "I've been warned." And I'm like, oh, I can relate to this because she feels embarrassed, right? Like, I don't want her to, but she does feel embarrassed. And it's like, is he going to act up? Is he going to let the full force of his temper out right now? Like,
So this is, I when they had that exchange, I was like, okay, I hope it's just that they're mic'd up. But then Ashley remarks like, TJ, if you're a grown man with your own charisma, why are you getting mad at Stacey? So then it's like, people can hear you at the table saying,
and he wants them to hear. He wants people to witness his tantrum.
Yeah, he did. But who did? It's like he.
That was
I think he lost control. I think he kind of lost control because he would be very, as a people pleaser and a guy trying to belong, he knows he can't win that. It's like I think he was so angry that he lost control.
He was in mania, some might say.
Well, yeah.
Um,
An inflamed moment for sure. Like,
yes.
yeah.
What I want to
About
say,
being left alone, maybe, which maybe triggered something if it's that he did
Mm,
experience sexual assault.
our theory is
mm.
ironclad, honestly.
No.
Wait, there
I
was
thought
But
it
that,
was unrelated to TJ. I did like the moment where Stacey was talking to Ray, and she was like,
yeah, I know, it
"Is
was
this
so
Ray?"
cute. It
you
was
didn't know
really
what a
cute.
drag king either was, right?
And then she says, "Ashley, sorry to interrupt, but Ray didn't know what a drag king was either. Isn't that interesting?"
And
That's
Ashley doesn't want
exactly
to
what I would have done. I literally was. Let me ask Ray.
and Ashley doesn't want to
Oh,
say
I-
in front of Ray, it doesn't matter what that old man thinks. Like,
But you know who it was really for? It was for Jacqueline. Because when I watch it back, Ashley developed the concept. She
Mhm.
invented it. She didn't expect Stacey to know about it. She was just telling her about
Yeah,
it.
she was
And then,
and she was also excited to talk about the event. She
yes,
wasn't,
yes. And then Jacqueline jumps in. You don't know that, Stacey. It's like,
that's
go
true. I
home,
was
Roger.
excited.
Like, what?
Word to sister and TJ.
Yes.
Can we just refer to Jacqueline in those terms? Like she's
Roger.
fucking Roger. Ever since Catherine said it, it's like all of a sudden your neighbor's on camera and you're like, ah.
No, but look
That's
at her
why
next
that's so
episode. She got the little short Roger cut. It's not braids, but it's a little bob.
I actually really like
It's
that bob
beautiful.
on her.
It's
It's much
beautiful.
better.
Yeah, it's really
It's beautiful. I love it. I love it.
All right,
but it's
prediction
giving
for
Roger.
season 10. Jacqueline has a cherry blossom, and Stacy and Ashley are a confirmed couple. All right.
Oh my god. You're gross. Don't do that to Stacey.
Yeah, Ashley wishes. Ashley could never. Okay.
I fear it could be true. I fear it could
It's just going
happen.
to take one party, one Miami trip,
Who do we see?
Just
We
like
do
on
see
Atlanta.
Ashley kiss Jacqueline. Well, that's easy. That's remember in the
When did
midseason.
they kiss?
Have y'all not seen the midseason preview?
Oh, later. Oh, no, but drop that in the chat as well.
Wasn't sure.
All right.
Okay.
Well, while she's dropping that in the chat,
I
let's
thought of a beautiful transition to our next one. Can I?
transition us right along.
Can I
I
do
know
it?
it
Okay.
is empty.
Because we were talking about Ashley responding to Stacey being like, "Okay, Ashley, Ray didn't know what a drag." That's the confessional moment where she goes, "Stacey, Stacey." She basically said, "Stacey is a beautiful,
Oh,
Stacey
she's
is a
doing her.
beautiful woman,
Mhm.
and she's a lot like me. She just lacks flavor, and we
Put
just
your
need to
chin
get."
down when you're doing Ashton.
Here we go. No, I almost did it. I almost did it.
She said, "Okay, Dr. Bustrin."
No, Dr. Bustrin.
That's
That's
my
a deep
drama
cut
teacher
for
in
our
America.
committed fans only.
And then she's like, "We just need to get her lips wet, both of them."
I'm afraid of Ashton.
Well, Ashley's pretty scary herself, so I don't blame you for being afraid of Ashton. Cause it's like she's almost like it feels like she's threatening to violate her, right?
Yeah, it
Like,
does feel predatory. It's a
Yes.
little too
yeah.
predatory. It's getting intense at this point.
But she's
But
channeling Michael,
ex-
Who
ex-
teaches her everything that she knows about relating. Yes.
Mhm.
as
Yep.
her family members actually suggest, right? Like, okay, but because the episode is billed as being about Ashley, like we're taking the opportunity to like put together the things we are noting about Ashley as we develop our sets of her 9 seasons later, right? But this is call it her farewell her farewell address.
Wish it as that.
Um,
Yes.
but
Like I
this
said, my
Stacy,
prediction is my
is one
prediction.
plot point, right?
Mhm.
Like this preying on Stacy, and like how are we interpreting that? Like, first of all, most important of all, we were fucking right. Okay. Remember the Kill Fuck Mary episode when we were talking about now why is
Mary,
Ashley choosing
fuck, Mary,
Stacy?
kill. When you say it out of order, Mary sounds like a name.
Kill, Mary, fuck.
I said Kill Fuck Mary.
Yeah, that to me,
Kill
I heard
and fuck Mary.
yeah, exactly. As opposed to
You also heard,
FKN.
what did you also say? Mia and King Gordon? You heard that one day too?
oh, yeah, I did.
What's that?
You had said like Mia, Ink, and Gordon, and
Oh, and you thought I
Mia,
said King.
I was like,
King Gordon.
And I told you I don't call them kings. I don't just be passing king out, okay? Willy nilly.
Niggas never deserve king. Sorry.
No, no, they do not. But how do we interpret that, Stacey? Oh, besides the fact that we were right because we said she's preying on Stacey because she identifies with her and she makes herself feel better. She bolsters herself. She will have thought of herself as transcending a corny status that she once occupied if she can now mark Stacey as the corny one who is in need of some flavor.
Right.
yeah,
That she represents. Ashley, have you met yourself? Have you?
Spoken like a true white girl, also like, shut up. Like, flavor.
I mean, that's the problem. She's getting her talking points from TikTok. Like
that she is doing that.
It makes me think of that like clip I saw on Twitter of somebody, like it was on Survivor, where a white South African told this black woman, like, I'm more African American than you are. Okay.
I saw someone on TikTok refer to that, but I thought they were making something up, so I clicked away. Wow, it was a
Did
real.
they say more African American or more African?
They said African American because the black woman is like, I'm from North Carolina. Like, you're from California. Like, I'm from North Carolina. It's way over on the other side of the country. She said, don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, okay? I'm more African American than you. I know what the United States are. I've lived there, okay?
She's from Africa, and yeah, she's white, so she's more African American.
It's like a transplant. Yeah, too.
Okay. Thankfully, I didn't see that. But we were also speculating earlier that this Stacey thing is about trying to regain control over the utter, chaos that is her life, which she more or less admits to at the start of this birthday segment. Like, my business, what business? GNA Fusion is not where it's supposed to be.
Very vulnerable. If I were Gizelle, watching the clip, last episode, her saying that about GNA Fusion, I would be like,
yeah, it's like you don't do that when you're growing the business, first of all, but that just goes to show she doesn't believe in it. She says it because she doesn't believe in it.
Yes, exactly.
And she's leaning into a kind of masochistic narration of what's going on with her, which I've seen twos do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like even at the beginning, she says, oh, my favorite moment, no holds barred for the whole episode, is when Ashley is doing her international rock pop star performance, and she's like, "Today I'm really gonna shine. Come on."
Yes, yeah, you did come on more compellingly because you did it like a Barbie. She did it like desperate. Like,
I'm begging like she was.
Not like Ashley. Nope, she was begging. You were not begging like that.
I also read that level. I read that desperation in when Gizelle's like, and this is gonna make GNA a what? And she hands the mic to Ashley, and she's like, success. And it's like, y'all don't believe it. Look at how you had it.
God, it was so cringe.
You said, come on, like, this is the second time in 2 weeks I'm telling you this, but it's true. You said it like Tyra in Life Size, okay? He did not say it like that.
I'm booking Tyra movies, okay?
Where you live, where you are, be a star.
Yes, you said it like that. She said it like, if Tyra, I mean.
Yeah. Come on.
This feeling is brand new. Today really gonna shine.
And just to get in the people's face. Okay, for our viewers, I want you to know that I was actually home and near Union Market when they filmed this, and I knew ahead of time, and I could have gone. Seeing how small it was, seeing how Gizelle was greeting everyone at the steps, I was like, fuck. That could have been me next to TJ.
You could have had a live performance
for the channel, Catherine. Why didn't you sacrifice yourself for the channel? I saw Dot and Crystal. I went and got the picture with them. You should have gone to the event.
Now y'all think you're celebrities, okay?
The problem is, it was early. It was like start time, 8 a.m. So I was gonna have to leave the house.
Yeah, it looked early as fuck. I said, and then they
But
will have wasted their time.
no, and I was like, I'm gonna get up early and waste my time. But this episode, I was like, I would have wasted my time next to Angel in a door, and that would have been fine by me.
Oh, that would have been
Oh,
cute,
there.
actually. That would have been cute. Okay,
Well, so the
back
point is that
to
on the occasion of Ashley's birthday, she's reflecting on her life's failures and where she is in her life and how she isn't where she thought she was going to be. But she's making a cake with Dean and Dylan again, who
Mhm.
are rich texts themselves that describe how their rearing is going. Like,
Mhm.
what do we see? Like, what do we see with them too?
And it draws from last episode too. Like we've put together the pieces from last episode. So think with us in a more expansive sense. But there, remember, Dean is the oldest, and that's the one that looks like
John C. Riley.
John C. Riley.
Look
Dylan
it
is-
up. The guy in Chicago. Okay.
I think everybody knows. I think everybody clearly
he
Well,
has
sees
no,
that
that's a
intense
name
widow's
that's just
peak.
like an actor name. So you know the face and you know the name, but you don't necessarily.
But even if you don't know the actor, if you're saying the image is already conjured in people's heads. That's how
Step
similar
Brothers.
they are.
Step Brothers. Think of that. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
perfect.
Step
Step
Brothers
Brothers.
also.
Yeah.
And Dylan is the baby one who's Dilly, and you can see their different dispositions in the scene, right? Like Dilly's like, "Oh, I love you, family member, hug me," and Dean is like, "Yeah, me too, hug me as well." Like strategically watching.
Are
He's a
you
little
debased?
slow.
How might I manipulate you and instrumentalize you for my own purposes?
You know too much. You know too much.
No, but it also, like, when you see kids that are eager to, and actually now I'm questioning whether I saw this, but he looks so much like this that I've put this in my mind that he's eager to like hit. Oh, I've seen it on Instagram. He's eager to punch Ashley, you know?
Well, you know why you think that? He kicks Ashley out of their little forts that they make. You remember that one episode, was it last season, where he's like precariously drawing Dylan up onto the counter knowing that it's dangerous? Like, I just feel like he's, you ever seen The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin?
Oh my God, The Good Son.
The Good Son. He's on some good son.
No, I haven't
It's
seen
a holiday movie. Watch it. It is the holiday movie.
The Good
Okay.
Son. He's on some Good Son shit.
Another Macaulay classic. It's amazing as a movie.
Macaulay classic. That's right.
The last thing I Googled as I looked down is Ashley Darby, drag king, and she didn't come up in drag, so.
She hasn't done it yet. She hasn't unrealized plans. Okay, but one thing we noticed Dilly is the sweet Dean, and this again is the difference between the live one and the Peacock one. There's a moment where Dean is sitting on the counter and it's like he's eating the things, and then he looks in the camera and goes, and I said, look at him just like his father trying to intimidate the cameraman.
Oh. In utero, he was listening. It's crazy.
Had plenty of access, right? Like it's clear to me Dean doesn't like Black people. Okay.
Yeah,
so when we've already tracked how last episode he didn't want to touch grandma, but he sees Dylan sitting on the counter going, "Mommy," and then Dylan carries mommy. Dean is like, "Sheila, carry me." Like,
no, but Catherine, tell us what you saw, because
like
when Sheila arrives late and Dean opens the door for her, and you had a close read of that.
Yes, Dylan runs to embrace her. To Kristen's point, Dean is the one that opens the door. He stands there, okay, but he doesn't approach. He's standing there with the door. He looks back, and clearly he's communicating with somebody. And then he turns and he goes, you know, like somebody told him, go hug grandma. You know?
But if you also watch Sheila's face, she's corroborating this every time. When Dean is trying to get in her arms, you know, like a grandma can be, even though she's distracted talking to Ashley, she looks at him and he's like, grandma. And she's like, yeah. She like consistently the way she looks at him, that little boy is mean and evil to her. So she's having a really hard time. She'll do the affection, but you can tell she's like, oh God, is Macaulay gonna stab me?
I think about it as like, sorry, is this bad to say? Like the child of a person who suffered rape or something. It's like, you look like Michael Darby. Boy.
That's what I was exactly what I was gonna say.
So Michael is not only fashioning himself, like Michael is invested in probably fashioning Dean as his, you know, subordinate, his next version, his type 2. And
Indeed.
I feel like Sheila is also just like, no, I see the way you're being groomed to be like Michael, and you look just like his ass too. So like,
No, but he's acting like it too. I'm sure she would have let that go, knowing Sheila raised Ashley after all, right? I believe she has her white investments in tow, even if she hates Michael. But I think he's mean to her. I mean, besides the like reluctance to like you can see she's like, I'm gonna do my duty because it's my duty, but she looks at him with the flattest affect, like. And then when Dilly is called Dilly,
dang.
She
she's
looked
telling
at
us
him
something.
like she was looking at Ashley when Ashley was like, I just see how hard you worked.
I got to run that back because I want to see it now.
She picked up her remote. Speaking of fake tears, okay. Speaking of fake tears, we were talking about this, right? Like some people on the internet are like, she better get that fake crying shit off my screen. And it's like she is fake crying, but she's also actually getting emotional, right? Like this is what we propose. She feels an emotion come forward, like sadness, and then she has this mechanical, automatic, put it away, lose it so you can use it, right?
Lose it and use it. Yes.
Yes.
You can't experience an emotion and be in control.
Exactly.
You can't experience and wield it at the same time. So
exactly. It will
but
be,
it feels she feels empowered to use it because she's like, oh, I did feel that's a legitimate feeling that somebody could be hurt about, but she's not feeling it as
And that's what Mia does as well. Exactly. That's why it's like she doesn't cry. You're like, I think you started earnestly, but then nothing came out. And then like 4 minutes later, a single tear. And that's what happens when you hold in your own cry. Try it at home, America. Okay. If you get sad and then you stop and it's really a sad thing, a tear will come out later because that's all the thing that could squeeze up and finally pass through.
And the thing that Ashley did in that moment, because it did seem like an earnest trigger that caused her to cry, and then instantly she's like, it's like the camera, she became so aware of the camera and to like give to the camera. And it's like, then people just only can read you as insincere. Nobody thinks that you're ever sincerely, like legitimately feeling anything, Ashley. You're only a user. You only use manipulate people.
Hence why Lump was like, okay, good. She kidding? She trying to play us? Like he looked at his wife and daughter and was like, "Why she doing this trash?" Yes, girl. Yes, you so sad, ain't you? And he started smiling back, and I think the whole family is fed up. Lump's wife and child are just like,
because Lump, while she's crying, Lump embraces her and it's like, yes, Ashley, you are sad about Michael. That is a good thing. Remember that you are divorcing Michael. Like he's like, that is good.
Like, it's over. It's over. You're grieving. Good.
Good.
Yeah. No, I love Lump, especially for being the truth teller in Ashley's life. And I like when Sheila is like, Sheila feeds off his energy. Like when they were sitting together, they said, let's say it together, control.
Because Sheila started out quiet. Sheila feels
and then Sheila falls into like cheap things like he done lost a good woman. And it's like, I wouldn't say that. Me myself.
Yeah. The Lump's wife also was saying that. It's like, but the minute they said control, Ashley is like, let me get up. I don't want to hear the truth. And if you watch, that's Ashley's strategy consistently with her family, right? Like if they're telling her the truth about something, she's about to leave so she doesn't have to hear it. I mean, she did it. It's hot in here. Can we go outside? It's like when it's time to start getting honest. And then as they're saying, like, he lost a good one and she's walking off, which they're saying to coddle her. She's like, no, he's fine without me. He moved right along. He's already has some newbie word who looks like you. It's like, that doesn't mean, that just means I was a face and a body to him, right? A hipless, a hipless substitution for a man.
That's right.
Yeah. Who knows? It could be a drag king.
I'll never forget in season 4, after Ashley has the first baby, they go shopping and Michael's like, wow, babe, you look so muscular. Like you look like a soccer player or something, babe.
Yes.
He does?
Muscular.
Well, then what have we been fucking speculating about? He done admitted it right there.
He did. He said, "Wow, babe, wow, you look so musky." And then she like, she like toots her booty, but it's like, no, he's not remarking on your booty, babe.
Yeah, well, no,
The
that
way
too,
you
right?
do the impression too, it's like I zoned out for a second and thought you were impersonating a Jamaican man.
It's hard. I can't do it. I'm not
There,
gonna keep the Irish, the Australians, and the Jamaicans are hard to
there
get.
is overlap. There is
Yeah.
significant overlap. Yes, they are cousins. The accents are cousins.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I think like, what kind of like rough draft statements can we make about how Ashley's doing, where Ashley's at this juncture?
Mm.
I almost said something vile.
That's just an
I almost said
adjective.
something that Stacey flipped, so I'm actually just gonna move on.
Yeah, ew. But related to that, we didn't talk about like why she's leaning into this masculine identity now, which besides the control indicated by her like lusting after Stacey, it's like looking for power.
Because 2 goes to 4 in anguish, is that it?
8. 2 goes
She
to
said
8.
8,
Okay.
right?
So,
Which
yeah,
is still tax, aggressive domination.
Right.
Mm-mm.
She's looking to, she feels vulnerable in the world without a patriarchal figure. So she is going to try and embody that.
She's becoming the patriarchal
That's
figure.
true.
Yeah.
And to go back, we talked about like the fake lie of the cry, but it's like what she was truly talking about was like being unattached to Michael and having it codified legally by proceeding with the divorce. And so like, yeah, maybe she is just like quite stressed at that prospect.
Mm-hmm. Kristen is hunting something in there, clearly.
There's a sound. I'm sorry. There's a
Oh,
sound.
not a sound. It's a killer.
I'm sorry.
But I think also, yeah, that's the description of mourning, like, right? Like when you the grief and then it turns into mourning, it's like, which is to say like you've successfully grieved when you internalize a piece of that which is lost. So it's like she's becoming Michael now to like get herself over the hump.
And maybe that bodes well if that's what it means to go from grief to mourning, because it's like maybe Michael himself was the salve for the lack of the white daddy, and like maybe
Now
if
she's white daddy.
I mean, it's just like now she's
Oh
internalized
God.
white daddy, and that's why she punches down to Candace and punches down to Stacey. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, she's becoming Michael. Like I don't want her to relate to Stacey as if she's Michael. Like
Ashton, the white daddy name.
Yeah, it is.
And she chose Ashton as the name. It's like, shut up. Just shut it up.
Ashley is already gender neutral. Okay.
It is. You ever read Gone with the Wind?
Right.
That's
The
what
name
I'm
is
saying. In the South, you'll
Yeah,
meet
you're
Ashley.
Yes,
You're
that's
right. You're right. You're right.
Scarlett.
She should have chose Isaiah though. That would have been a better one. Isaiah. I could see her as an Isaiah.
The blacker one for sure.
She's a blacker Isaiah.
No, Isaiah is a blacker name than.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't really see that for her. Now I have to think more.
It's a wish. It's a fantasy of mine. Okay. Wait, not like that. But
let's all think of her real drag name and then let's end this.
Can I just ask, unrelated but still related to Ashley? I don't mean to be a prude.
You can ask. I'll be thinking of the name.
I'm asking this in community. Help me update my views if necessary. But especially with her like fake breasts with that little crop top hanging out, making the cake with the boys. Like, I'm just like, can you put your titties away, please? Is that bad?
I didn't want it. I mean, it doesn't look good on her. As usual, she wears something that emphasizes big boobs and small everything else, narrow everything else. And I think it made her feel a little uncomfortable greeting Lump at the door.
Yeah.
Like I think she felt tense doing it.
Yeah.
She was like, "Hey, you looking like Saint-Tropez." Like, it's like, well, I don't know why you wear such little clothes.
Yeah.
She had underboob with it.
Yeah, side boob. She had side boob with it, not underboob. But it's like, I'm not against the crop top, but it's like, I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable.
It wasn't a crop top. It was a bralette.
It was hardly
just a bandeau.
Yes, exactly.
Wait, now I have no image.
I'm looking at it right now and I'm just like.
And then she had a long white skirt, Catherine, like
But
a long white maxi skirt with a cutout.
That's right.
With a cutout on the hip.
I remember the white. I was thinking she had some white top.
Yeah. Are you saying for the sake of her kids? Well, she's probably walking around naked, her kids. That part is fine. It's just like you're having a family gathering at your house. Why are you dressed like this for them?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it don't seem
I
right.
think that she could be a Brian, a Steve, even what I really think she could be is a Jacob, but I know that's not aspirational.
Or a Jake.
You should just call herself Michael. That's who she wants to be.
Well, I thought of Michael. I was like, oh, Michael. And then I was like,
oh, that's taken. No, it's taken by her. She can have it.
You can have it.
She can have it at this point.
Can I also say what she said at that moment was, I hate, this is as many Geminis who I love and identify with. Ashley has my exact same birthday and I do not like it.
Twins.
But our resident Ashley.
She lied and was like, Wendy's party is on my actual birthday. And I just don't know why she did that. Given that we were just in Lake Norman and I recall we had a party for her. Y'all did not have a party for Wendy.
Yeah. They did. It was shitty. They did that.
It wasn't a party. What was the party?
What was the party?
The birthday dinner.
No, they stayed up.
That's not a party.
That was not a party. They stayed up to ring in her new...
where you're wearing a hat that says 40. Everybody goes around the table, says something they admire about you. People sabotaged it.
That's a birthday dinner. That was a dinner. They were already having dinner anyway, and they just did it.
Poor people like me and Ashley would consider a birthday dinner a party.
I have a party. The party was not
identifying with her.
The trip would have had to be in her name for the dinner to be in her name.
And Mia's the one who dictated the dress code of that party. Wendy just broke it because she said, no, it's my birthday.
Yeah. Exactly. It was not. So Ashley, shut the fuck up. It was not. She did not already have a birthday. And if you didn't want to spend your birthday at her party, don't go.
Yeah, she should have arranged the bus like Karen did. Okay.
By the way, track on the internet, viewers and y'all's twos, track on the internet those people who are complaining about the fact of Wendy's birthday being ongoing. Okay.
People are mad about
See, no, that's too far. That's too far.
And those same people are the ones calling Gizelle the MVP.
Well, those are bots. So leave them alone.
No, they're real people. Those are real people, and you know it. And
if
you know it.
Queen of Bravo, that doesn't mean they're real.
Queens of Bravo is Robin, as we know.
Queens of Bravo talking about some screenshot, some errant screenshot from Traders. It was like Robin is serving face, and she just looked like.
Oh, that's why I know Queens of Bravo is not Robin, because they set her up every time.
Yeah, they did. They embarrass her.
She's not the brightest bulb, but she's not a fucking idiot. And
she's the brightest bulb if it's just her and Gizelle in the room.
Oh yeah, no, she's of standard. She's much smarter than Ashley.
That's right. Several of them.
Yes, you can go down the list.
There you go. Those three. Those three. All right. I want to know from the viewers. I want to hear them share their insights on where Ashley seems to be at. Like, is she healing? Is she thriving? Oh, it was a question. Healing, thriving, or survive, or merely surviving?
At the very least.
Well, you don't even need it's just the intonation of the striving,
thriving or striving,
healing, thriving, striving, surviving. That's what.
Striving to survive.
Yeah.
Dying
inside,
violating.
Not healing. You're dying.
Above.
So
all
maybe they,
Oh, that's true. If you're not healing, you are dying. Well, yeah, tell us what you think about what's going on with Ashley, these like new developments, her like fixation on Stacey as her sexual conquest, this like drag kings thing, which it's not going to do well. There's not a market for it, I assure you. And there's a structural reason why that is. But that's for another episode. And then we want to hear about whether y'all think Ray is up to some bad behavior lately, right?
Ray
is your king. Is that still your king? That's still your king, Catherine?
He was Catherine's king.
He is still my king. He is still my king, and he's lashing out. And it would be hard. It would be none of y'all would marry Karen. So shut the fuck up.
What was that? What was that organizer chant? Like, who do you? I can't remember it anymore.
Sorry, kiddo.
Is this who you respect? Is this who you something like that? I don't remember it.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It's about Biden, right?
Maybe something like that. I can't remember.
Well,
all right. Until
let's
next
end it on Joe
time.
Biden.
No.
No, we will not. No, we're not. We're gonna go another 20 minutes if it takes that.
No.
Okay.
Healing and thriving, striving, surviving,
Conniving, grifting,
lying,
Yes, grifting
knifing,
is important.
knifing.
Knifing, slash and burn. All right. Bye.
Bye.